What's up, guys? It's JTB Gaming here, and today, to kick off our next episode of our Cambridge United Road to Glory, we have our FA Cup game against Norwich City. For this game, I will be experimenting a little bit, so I will be lining up in a 4-3-1-2, as we have Laird at right back, Hendricks and Jansen at center backs, Drummond at left back, Gillespie in goal, Brown at center mid, Lopez at right center mid, Gordson at left center mid, Valera at attacking mid, with Hansen and McAvoy up top. Norwich City will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. In the 15th minute, Hansen Maradonas his defender before he cuts into the box. He shoots, putting it into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. In the 40th minute, our youth player Gallardo is able to beat a defender before he's one-on-one with the keeper. He puts it near post to put us up 2-0. In the 62nd minute, the ball is played out to the wing before it's cut back. Their players dummies the ball before their striker gets the ball and puts it into the back of the net, making the score 2-1. At full time, we would go on to beat Norwich 2-1 as we advance in the FA Cup. Looking at our youth academy, I've decided to send one of our scouts to Colombia to find some playmakers. I've also decided to send another scout to Ecuador to find some strong players, and another scout to Venezuela to find some strong players. So the reason why our youth player Gallardo scored in our last FA Cup game was because Hansen pulled his quad in the game, so he's out for 3 weeks, as we have some tough games coming up, which he will most likely have to miss. We now have a league game against Spurs. Spurs will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1. They have some players who are very good now, so this will be a tough game. I've decided to go back to our 4-3-3 holding, as I feel like the 4-3-1-2 just wouldn't work against tougher opposition. In the 72nd minute, Gordson is dribbling above the box before he backheels the ball into Lopez, who hits it first time into the back of the net to put us up 1-0. At full time, we go on to beat Spurs 1-0 thanks to that goal by Lopez, as we pick up the crucial points in the league. We now travel to Old Trafford to face Manchester United. Looking at this Manchester United squad, they will be lining up in a 4-2-3-1, and they have players all around the pitch who are very, very good, so this will be a tough game. We, again, will be lining up in that 4-3-3 holding. At full time, we would go on to tie Manchester United 0-0. It was a very, very boring game as there was no shots on target, but we pick up 1 point, which is not great, but it's also better than picking up 0 points. Looking at how I will be sending out our youth scouts for the rest of the season, I will be having a scout go to Peru to find some attackers, a scout go to Mexico to find some technically gifted players, and a scout go to Spain to find some playmakers. We now host Chelsea in the league. We again will be lining up in this 4-3-3 holding. I've decided to put Valera into the starting lineup, as I feel like he can make a big difference in this game. Chelsea will also be lining up in a 4-3-3 holding, as this game will be a battle of players and tactics. In the 50th minute, their striker is able to get a shot off from the top of the box as it hits the crossbar, and Gallagher wins the header over Laird as Chelsea go up 1-0. In the 78th minute, one of their players gets a shot. Hendricks does a good job to block it, but the rebound falls to their striker as he puts it in the back of the net to put Chelsea up 2-0. At full time, Chelsea would go on to beat us 2-0. They dominated the game, so the result that we got was deserved. After that tough league game against Chelsea, we now travel to the Emirates Stadium to face Arsenal. Arsenal will be lining up in a 4-3-1. We will especially have to watch out for David, their attacking mid, and Daka, their striker. For this game, I've decided to experiment with the formation a little bit, as we will look to line up in a 3-1-4-2. We'll have Gillespie in goal, Hendricks at right center back, Jansen at center back, and Drummond at left center back. Brown will be our defensive mid, Lopez and Murray will be our center mids, Laird will be out wide on the right, Valera will be on the left, with Hansen and Gordson up top. In the 26th minute, Hansen plays Gordson in behind. Gordson beats the defender, then opens his hips and curls it into the back of the net to put us up at 1-0. In the 40th minute, Arsenal played the corner short. The ball gets played into Pepe. He turns, he shoots and scores to tie the game at 1-1. In the 60th minute, Daka and David are able to do a give and go before Daka puts it near post to put Arsenal up 2-1. In the 81st minute, Hansen plays Murray in behind before he gets the ball, puts it in from the tight angle to tie the game at 2-2. At full time, we would go on to tie Arsenal 2-2. It was a very even game, so the draw was fully deserved. In that game against Arsenal, Victor Gordson suffered an injury as he dislocated his shoulder, and he will be out for 8 weeks, which also means he will be out for the rest of the season. In one of our league games, Valera also suffered an injury as he tore his groin, and he will be out for 6 weeks, which will also be till the end of the season. Heading into the last game of the season, we are currently in 4th place with 76 points, and Arsenal are 5th with 75 points. We are currently in the last Champions League spot, and our opponent for this final game of the season, we will be facing Manchester City, who need a win in order to make sure that they win the title, as Arsenal will be facing Fulham, who are currently in 20th place and will already be relegated. During our game against Manchester City, the Arsenal and Fulham game is the only game that we care about. We now get into the last game of the season as we face Manchester City. Manchester City will be lining up in a 4-3-3 holding. For this game, with the injuries to Gordson and Valera, I've decided to go with a 5-3-2. We will have Gillespie in goal, Laird at right wing back, Rodriguez, Hendricks, and Jansen at center backs, Drummond at left back, Brown at center mid, Lopez and Murray at the outside center mids, with McAvoy and Hansen up top, as we will look to sit back and hit them on the counterattack. In the 32nd minute, Hendricks is not able to control the ball as the ball gets crossed in. Jansen can't control the ball before Carrera puts it into the back of the net to put Manchester City up 1-0. In the 38th minute, McAvoy plays Hansen. He lets the ball roll across his body before he gets the ball, turns, and shoots to tie the game at 1-1. In the 52nd minute, McAvoy loses the header before it falls to Lopez as he plays Hansen behind, and Hansen shoots and scores, making the score 2-1. In the 56th minute, Manchester City work the ball around the box before they play Iniketa, who beats Jansen and puts it in the back of the net, tying the game at 2-2. In the 77th minute, Sane gets the ball out wide before he plays it to his teammate as he plays it to Keita, who puts it in the back of the net to make the score 3-2. In the 82nd minute, Sane plays his teammate again as he lays it across for Keita, who puts it in the back of the net, making the score 4-2. At full time, we would go on to lose to the eventual champions Manchester City 4-2, as we did not finish in Champions League place as Arsenal beat Fulham. Looking at the league table at the end of the season, we did finish in 5th. We were only 2 points off of a Champions League spot, but we were also only 2 points off of not playing any European football next season. One good thing to come out of the league this season is that Gordson got the Golden Boot as he scored 23 goals in 34 games. Lopez tied for second as he had 10 assists in 35 games. Gillespie, our goalkeeper, tied for third for most clean sheets as he had 14 in 38 games. Looking now at where we placed in each competition that we participated in this season, we finished 5th in the league. In the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the quarterfinals by Newcastle as they beat us 4-1. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out relatively early by Manchester City in the 4th round as we lost to them 6-1. Looking now at the overall stats for the team from this season, looking at appearances, Drummond and Laird appeared in the most games as they appeared in 48 games. Brown and Hendricks appeared in 47 games, and Gillespie and Jansen appeared in 46 games. Gordson was able to score the most goals as he scored 28 goals, Hansen scored 17, and Murray contributed 12. Looking at our players who had the most assists, Lopez had the most as he had 12 assists, Hansen and Gordson tied for second as they both had 8 assists, and Murray came in third as he had 5 assists. Now we are looking at our players who are on the field to keep the most clean sheets. Drummond and Gordson tied for first as they both had 19 clean sheets. Laird was in second with 18, and Gillespie, Brown, and Hendricks had 17 clean sheets. Looking at our highest overall players, Gordson is now the best player in the team by far as he is a 92 overall. Hendricks is an 83 overall. Lopez is now an 82 overall. Gillespie, Hansen, and Valera are all now 81 overalls. Looking now at our players whose overall increased the most, Ricardo Diaz's overall went up by 15, as I look to have him replace Gillespie in goal next season. Gillespie's overall went up 5, so did Nasser and Tweeney, Basir, Kluchi, and Adama. And going up 4 overall was Gallardo and Caldera. Brown was the only player whose overall went down, as his overall did go down 1, as he is now 30 years old. Looking at our most valuable players, Victor Gordon is now worth $160 million, Hendricks is worth $58.5 million, and Lopez is worth $54.5 million. Looking at some of the deals that we have agreed to going into next season, Alex Navas will be heading out on loan, Diego Rodriguez will be heading out on loan, Caldera, Ennis, Mueller, Murphy, and Antuini have all been sold. Romano, Clucci, and Phillips will also be heading out as they have been sold. Vasquez and Edwards will be heading out on loan. Looking at our club from a financial viewpoint, the club is now worth $521 million with a projection of $880 million. Looking at our overall managerial career, nothing really changed except for our biggest defeat was 6-1 versus Manchester City in that FA Cup loss. We have now played 358 games. We have won 232 of those. We have drawn 62. We have lost 64. We have scored 655 goals, and we've only conceded 347 goals. Looking at this season specifically, the club wanted us to finish mid-table. We were able to finish in 5th place. The club wanted us to reach the round of 16 stage in the FA Cup, which we did not do as we were knocked out in round 4. In the Carabao Cup, we made it to the quarterfinals. We did not win Manager of the Month or Manager of the Year. The record transfer fee paid this season, we did not have any as we again did not buy any players. The highest transfer fee that we received was for Omrigic of $19.4 million. This season we played 48 games, we won 31, we drew 7, we lost 10, we scored 88, and we allowed 51. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more of this series, check out the playlist on the screen. And it's JTB Gaming, signing off.